Yay! So we're live. Good evening, everyone. Hey, this is Isis with Business of Black Beauty, presented by Sadiaa Black Beauty Guide. Tonight, I am so excited to have Ted Gibson and Jason Backe on. They're the co-owners of Starring By Ted Gibson Salon, legendary hairstylists, hairdressers extraordinaire. They've touched just about anybody that you would in terms of coiffing and mastering. And I've got them tonight. I just want to say thank you first of all. Hello.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm like a little kid in a candy store right now. I'm just like,
Candy online.
We got Ted and we got Jason. And they are like legendary. If you are anything in the world of beauty, even if you're not, I mean, they've worked on everybody: Angelina, Jolie, Lupita, Nyong'o, Priyanka, Sandra, a whole bunch of folks, a whole bunch of brands, a whole bunch of history, a whole bunch of legendary everything. And they have really been pushing forward this movement in the midst of the pandemic for reopening salons. We know in March, everything got just completely shut down. Beauty salons are like, no more. We out here trying to fend for ourselves with these just new growth and edges and stress. And they're on the other end where they're like, they want to work and they can't get out in these streets. And I know they're celebrity hairstylists, but they got to make their coins too. And they push forward in mid-month with a movement, a campaign called Open Salons Now, where they just were, bump y'all in California. Okay, Gavin Newsom, we get it, but we kind of come back out here and we're going to get our work together. We're going to start making moves. And they've been reopened since August 17th despite, in protest of all of it. So tell me, like, what is this experience been like? Like, let's start from the beginning. August 17th, y'all just said, hey, we opening up. Tell me about this.
It was kind of like a few weeks in the making.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There were other salons around California that had DM'd us and had messaged us and emailed us to talk about how their plan was to open on the 17th. And it's so funny because in the beginning they asked us if we would join them, and we were like, I don't know. It was one of those things where we're
rule followers to a fault.
Yeah.
So this was a big move for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so when we got connected through a radio interview that I did on a local LA news radio show with this guy, Fred Jones, who is the legal counsel for the Professional Beauty Federation of California.
Yes.
And we had it was just maybe an 8-minute interview. And I was really inspired by the things that he was saying. And so I found his contact information and sent an email, and we connected on the phone, and we talked for probably 45 minutes. What's happening in our industry and how we can, make a stand and try and, get some attention like the food and beverage industry got.
Wow.
They were really organized and really together with their messaging from the very first beginning of the pandemic. And we didn't have that in the beauty industry, specifically the salon professional hair care industry. There wasn't, commercials on television on how to help your hairdresser. There wasn't positive messaging coming from anywhere. All of the messaging was, in my opinion, especially from the government here in California, that we are dumb and dirty, that we're not smart enough to handle the responsibility of the new regulations, and that we're not clean enough to provide a sanitary experience for the consumer, which apparently the county of Los Angeles still believes to be true.
And we know that that's
right.
I mean, we're licensed professionals. Depending on what state you're in, you go for 1,600 hours or even more, and you pay $20,000 or more for your education. And that the first order of business when you start beauty school, you don't necessarily touch a mannequin head. You go through anatomy, you go through sanitation, you go through physiology, you go through all of those things in the beginning of the program. So we are licensed professionals to be able to know what it's like to be able to make sure that when a guest comes to the salon, that they are safe, that our employees are safe, that we are safe, everything that has to do with being in a salon in this time, in this future, in this present is really what we're about. And at Starring is the first smart salon in the world, but even greater than that, we even had some kind of preconceived notion about what a safe salon would be. And as we opened Starring 11 months before we were shut down in March, we were just thinking about how incredible it would be to have a place where a woman could come and get her hair done that would be touchless from the moment that she booked her appointment to the moment she arrived at the salon to retail, everything that has to do with the level of a luxury salon experience. We really thought about what that could be like. And so happened that we built the salon of the future, but we really did build the salon of today.
Yeah, I mean, the pictures are always like otherworldly, neon, and it's like they're already kind of social distanced on their own in these little pods where women can come in, and you talk about like being able to change a person's life by getting their hair done. And it's like that whole experience and feeling. So I was like, oh, wow, this is awesome. You guys already set up. But thinking about salons in general, when we shut down in March, my first thought was like, this would be the safest place if you're going to a licensed place with OSHA regulations. You got the barbicide, everything is going to be clean and sanitary. You're more concerned about the person walking in to see if they actually have it.
That's true. The CDC has said that there aren't any proven cases that going to a salon that you're going to catch COVID, because again, and at Starring particularly, of course, everyone's temperature when you come in. We ask you the questions that every business owner should ask when a guest comes to the salon. We also give them a hand sanitizer. We give them a hot towel to wipe off their hands with. We have them sit in the chair. We're not double booking, so we don't have anyone that's waiting in the reception area before she gets to the salon. She can be the only one person in the salon. So we've thought about how important it is from those touch points. When you book your appointment, you go through an app, you put your credit card in, just like if you're used to going on any shopping app or you're used to using a ride share. We know that you put your name in, you put your credit card information in a matter of minutes, the ride share is there. It's the same thing in the salon. We don't have retail. We thought about how important it is, the idea of the next level of what that experience is going to be, because we don't have a front desk. Because if those of you ladies or men who are watching, that if you go to a salon and you have gotten your hair done and you changed out of your robe and you have to go to the front desk and you're like, waiting for the front desk to finish out, all of those things, when you're ready to get out, we've thought about all that. So we don't have we don't have retail. You can actually shop from the app. If the stylist in the salon recommends a certain product, you can go to that shopping app, have it at 10 o'clock at night when you are having a glass of wine and you decide, oh, Jason recommended this shampoo for me. You can go right straight to the app and purchase it from there. You can book your next appointment from there, everything. So it's completely touchless in the way that we think the salons are going to be for the future.
Super groundbreaking. That's like when you're talking about so folks who are just tuning in, they are literally the world's first smart salon. That means they're powered by Alexa, Amazon, being able to book, as they were saying before. I think that's so revolutionary. There's a lot of salons that aren't there.
We left New York City. When we closed our salon in New York City, we took almost 2 full years to think about the things that we really loved about the salon business and the things that we less than loved.
Yes.
Retail seems like a less than love.
After owning 3 salons in 3 different states, there was a laundry list of things that we less than loved. And so that's how we came up with this concept for Starring. Is we wanted to exaggerate the things that we loved and get rid of the things that we less than loved. And by by coincidence or divine inspiration or whatever we want to call it, all of those things also happen to make us as COVID safe as you can be without making any changes at all, except stepping up the hand sanitizer and, you know, the protocols in between clients.
Mm. So what does that look like with the new protocols for you? Like more gloves, more?
You know, we decided early on, we got some great advice from a friend of ours, Lisa Van, who is up in Seattle. And she said, I think it's really important for all of us to follow the guidelines from the CDC, the state, the federal, and the local level. So we've decided to do exactly that and just follow exactly what is recommended. So in the state of California, you don't have to wear gloves unless it's a service that requires gloves. So you don't have to wear a face shield. You only have to have a mask, and the client needs to have a mask. However, we also know that this is a really important time to rebuild consumer confidence. I get DMs from people almost every day talking about their business and how it's down 30%, 50%, 70%, how people have had clients for 20 years that haven't come back for 9 months or 6 months because they're afraid. And so I think that's the next thing that we as an industry need to think about. It's like, what can we do to really rebuild that confidence with the consumer?
What does that pivot look like? Yeah. For someone,
well, you know, that's why we do have gloves. That's why we do have face shields. So if the client comes in and she feels uncomfortable if we don't have the shield, we have one to put on. You know, so I think it's really important that we're, I was going to say taking the temperature, but we are literally taking their temperature. You know, listening to what the client has to say about her experience and gauging her comfort level to make sure that she feels confident coming back.
Yeah. And I think that that's kind of the next order of business, you know, Jason said about building that consumer confidence. And I know a lot of hairdressers are watching, you know, us on Facebook and Instagram, that I think that it's really important as we move forward in our business of what that really looks like. And give it thought on what is going to bring your guests back in, because, you know, it's that vital time of, you know, here it is September already. You know, we're thinking about what's going to happen in October and November and December. You know, think about changing hair color and think about those things that marketing ideas that you can have in order to bring the guests back in. I think that if you are talking to them on a regular basis, you know, and telling them about your sanitation and things that are normal, because I believe that those things are normal. Like, we are normal that we wear a mask. Like, it's great to look out, even though it can be surreal. You go to the grocery store, or you come to the salon, or you go to a restaurant, and everyone is wearing a mask. And I think that that's really, really, really important. That's part of the normal life right now. So what are the things that make her feel comfortable about coming back? Because we know that we're wearing our masks.
So that, thinking about the mask, all the protection things, the things that make us feel a little bit safer. But then what do you say to the client, the woman who's just like, okay, I get all this, but I don't want to have all this just to get my hair done?
I would say go someplace else. You know, as a small business owner, yes, the customer is always king, as the saying goes. However, these are special circumstances. And if the client isn't willing to follow the guidelines that we need to follow, then we're not the right business for her to come to, you know.
And we're following all of the guidelines. You know, I think that when Gavin Newsom said that salons and nail shops and all of those beauty people can be outside and do their services, we thought,
like, what?
That was the most
ridiculous.
We laughed so hard at that. Like, ooh.
And offensive. Like, as Jason said earlier about, you know, they think that we're dumb and dirty, that we don't know what we're doing, but we do know what we're doing. We know exactly what we're doing.
Let's come back to that, because that's literally what you guys, you know, started with this whole campaign, you know, saying at the top of the month, we're going to open despite Gavin Newsom and whatever he's saying that we can't run a salon safely. You're running it. What's so important for you to stand behind that movement to help salons reopen?
We're both like,
taking it back.
Like, ooh.
Well, we got so many messages from people asking us to do something, and we both of us were like, well, what can we do? Like the law is the law, the rules are the rules. We follow the rules.
Yeah.
And we were fully compliant during the first shutdown. We were fully compliant through the majority of the second shutdown, and we just got to a point where it started to feel like this is going to go on forever. And we know that we are falling in a hole that is just getting deeper and deeper and deeper without any real opportunity that we can think of to get ourselves out of that hole.
Yeah. There's nowhere to dig out at this point. Yeah.
They were offering loans, but if you're offering a loan, that's great. But
how are you gonna pay it back?
You're going to pay it back. That's a major concern. And there were no grants. And the thing that I was really, really upset about in the very, very beginning, and I'm just going to put it out there, you guys. So listen to me. I'm saying it. For those of you that are from manufacturers, I don't care, because I'm going to say it anyway. We're a manufacturer. We did the best that we could, but we're no L'Oreal. We're no Wella. We're no Matrix. We're no Paul Mitchell. We're none of those. What's really important at this stage of the game is that you guys, hairdressers, really, really understand and think about the people that supported you over the last 6 months. I'll say it again. Think about the people that supported you over the last 6 months. Because the reason why I say that is because in March, when it first happened, like March 17th, when Jason and I looked at each other, ourselves, and we said, okay, this is no joke. The next thing I knew, CBS, Nora O'Donnell, Gail King from CBS, Lester Holt from NBC, they were all talking about the restaurant business, right? All the restaurant business and how the restaurant business is dying, and all of these things were happening to the restaurant business. And then I saw Guy Fieri come up like in June, and he raised $24 million for the restaurant business. $24 million.
Our manufacturers, the big manufacturers, have really abandoned us in this time. There has not been, a unity between the manufacturers to try and come together and, do a real public display of support. There's so many things that could have been done, that still could be done, that aren't being done. And I think it's really important for every salon owner, for every hairdresser, to really think about where their support came from and decide moving forward, like which manufacturers really stepped up, which ones really went to bat for us in ways other than giving us free online classes. Because that's not helping.
That's not helping.
I don't know how to cut hair. I need more.
Even the world this pandemic has been extremely, extremely hard. And the backbone of this country is small business. And when I hear that these big businesses get all of this money to be able to support their business, the small businesses around the country have not had that. And we've had to scale down. I have a good friend of ours that has a salon in Atlanta, and she had to take her salon from 50 chairs to 25 chairs. Does anyone know really what that means for her and her business?
Wow.
It's huge. And all of the money after we came back that salon owners had to put in place. We're very lucky where we didn't have to put in dividers and partitions.
Right.
Filter systems throughout the salon and all of these things. We didn't have to do that because we were already set up for that. But some salons invested $30,000 or $40,000 just on that.
When we didn't have it.
Just to get back to be able to open $30,000 when income just stopped.
Stopped.
That's crazy. I just want to shout out Monet Everett and Fatima Ampey over here. They're going in on the comments. Thank you so much. Ladies. They are going in. Fatima's like, first of all, just saying how state of the art everything is related to this salon with you can tell Alexa to sweep. I'm feeling
we can because Roomba. We have the Roomba, and the Roomba commanded by Alexa. So
Robots.
Yeah, Roomba sends me a text. I don't know why I call her a she, but she sends me a
Yes.
text every day that says that she's stuck near a cliff.
It's not Thelma and Louise. Don't jump out.
No. And Monet's going, she's just really talking about this debt piece and how, most of the salons and the stylists in general, because even if you're not in a salon, like she works just primarily on the go with on-call clientele. And she's had to like purchase so many things just to be able to go outside and do hair.
Yeah, that's really interesting. We've been talking about this a lot, about how this whole salon shutdown is going to change our industry.
Yeah.
Because now people have invested, hairdressers have invested in building their career outside of the salon. And consumers have it's become normalized to have the hairdresser come to your house. So while that all is still, it wasn't legal for us to be doing that.
Right.
But we all have to do what we have to do to feed our families and pay our bills. So, but I think it will be interesting to see what happens as the industry continues to evolve through this. I've got a lot of DMs from people, or I've seen people doing lives talking about how the staff doesn't want to come back, how they've way to build their business outside of the salon, keeping 100%, except hopefully paying their taxes. So there's going to be big changes, and
there's
I hope that
security with that though too, right? Security issues with like your insurance doesn't cover that if you're working at home.
No, it doesn't. The majority of it. On my side, I just want to let you know that on Starring's Instagram, we're live there, and someone, hi Nicole. Nicole said, I walked in Beverly Hills yesterday. You would be shocked at how many chair rental signs I saw at the big salons, chair rental signs. Yep.
Wow. Yeah. No, it's super. Let me pull this up too. So if you're on Instagram and you can't quite get back on this Facebook situation, they've got the conversations going everywhere. So I'm so grateful. They are on it. Like they are super on it. When we're talking about like how do you hold folks accountable to help the salons? I know women and minority Black folks in particular have been super impacted because we've been on that hair hustle grind, and there's like there's $10,000 here or $5,000 there or $500, and folks are like, well, you're getting all this money, and folks are just like, you understand that we shut down in March completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
$500 isn't going to get you but some food.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that a lot of us are in the same situation where we were fortunate enough to get the PPP loan. We were fortunate enough to get the, I forget the acronym for it, but the other
EIDL.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were fortunate enough to get that, but that money's gone. And that money didn't help pay all of our rents. That money definitely didn't pay our staff. And so not only are we trying to, make up for lost time, we're also facing how are we going to continue as we move forward? Because if everything that's coming in is going to pay what's behind us, then how do we stay current? So there's lots of conversations that need to be had with our landlords. Lots of phone calls and letter writing that needs to be done with our government officials. I just today I feel really strong about everyone getting out and voting. So today I saw a thing on the news that Los Angeles is looking for places to use as polling stations. So I emailed today to say that we would donate our salon for election day if they want to. I have no idea what the rules are. I haven't heard back yet, but I'm more than happy to, let them use our space as a polling station. I sent out an application today to volunteer at a polling station as a polling worker. I think that there's a lot of ways that people can get involved to help make a change and make a difference in what's happening just through voting. So I think it's important if you have the time to go to a polling station and volunteer, please do it, because a lot of times the people that volunteer are retired, and those people happen to be at risk, and they're feeling insecure about going.
Really
if you can lend your space as a polling station, if you can be a volunteer, it's just one day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And you know,
and some places pay it actually too for you to do it. So
yeah, it's true. And you know, I think it's really important to communicate with your landlords and communicate with your credit cards and communicate with anything that you are doing business with yourself. I think that if you are silent equals, you know, you don't care. So make sure that you care and make sure that you speak up to the people who you are doing business with, because that is going to be able to help you. You may not like the answer, you know, we may not like the answer, but I do think it's important that we speak up and have that conversation with whoever we're doing business with, because right now it's vital. You know, I believe that you know, it's September already. Who would have thought? You know, our mentor, it's so crazy. Like in March, I keep going back to March, but you know, when it started and when it kind of was happening a little bit, we told our coach, Zan Ray, we were like, it was IBS in New York. And
oh, wow, right.
It was IBS International Beauty Show in New York City. And she called and she said, well, do you think we should go? Her and her husband, Tom, and we were like, oh, yeah, you should go. And they flew that morning on a Friday.
They canceled it the next day.
We flew right back.
Wow.
We never would have imagined in March that we would still be in this situation in September.
Yeah.
We thought we'd be shut down for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe a month, because folks weren't paying attention and weren't following rules, and we'd be back to work.
Yep. Well, that's one of the things that hopefully now, 6 months in, our officials are starting to think of long-term solutions instead of blanket shutdowns and short-term like Band-Aids.
Yeah,
you know? I think that the conversation has definitely started in having different categorizations for businesses, you know, or some sort of like a qualifying test or something. I saw that all the review sites, Google, Yelp, OpenTable, a whole bunch of them will now have specific questions about COVID preparedness in the review section. So if you are a business owner or an independent contractor who relies on Yelp or any of the other review services, you need to make sure that you're on point with your sanitation game, because your consumers are going to be reviewing you on and scoring you on your sanitation.
Yeah, because it's more than just good hair. You know, we know that you can, you know what I mean? At this point, it's more than just good hair. You know, we have to step up the idea of what that consumer confidence and building that confidence in them coming back. And I think messaging is really, really, really vital and important. Yeah, it is.
So we're looking at messaging, preparation. There's still just the hard reality, though, that like the earning potential is reduced. I mean, for you, you're unique in the sense that your space is already set up like that. But you're talking about your friend in Atlanta from 50 to 25. Some folks went from 50 to 20 to actually set up that space, and then you can't have multiple people in the salon at the same time. You can't have somebody washing while you setting someone else and got someone else. What do you say to those folks who are really who are struggling right now in how they pivot their business?
You know, it's a really good question. We have been talking for the last week every day about what do we need to change about our model so that we can be compliant and still be profitable. And you know,
I love the profitable, because that's not
going to be for a while.
I love the profitable, but I mean, honestly, realistically, it's not.
And you know, to your point, we are set up for it. And I have a lot of concern for our colleagues with these big salons in Beverly Hills and West Hollywood that are their whole model, the rent, the taxes, the insurance, the assistants, the housekeepers, the coat checks, like all of that. How are they going to fix that model so that, they can be profitable when everything that they have is built around doing 500 people a day,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something that everyone is trying to figure out right now in terms of 6 months later. And we're still talking, this is like really part of business. And you have the retail side, which I know you less than love.
Well, no,
we love
Is
the
that
retail.
something that you want to come back to? Are you looking at more of that at this point? I know you've got the this foaming mousse situation.
Star,
yes, right.
meringue.
Are you looking at maybe more products? Yo, see, Jason, go get that for me. Yes. There we go.
This is available wholesale on our website, starring.tedgibson.com. Oh, you're going to open it?
Yes.
It's already open.
I feel like I know that I've seen you work it for like this beachy textured feel on hair.
Yeah. Well, what's cool about it is that it's a hybrid, right? And when you think about a hybrid, you think that that's luxury, and you think that that's super cool and modern. It's a hybrid mousse foam. So if you've ever used a mousse before, you know that it can be really sticky and doesn't move, and it dries really, really quick, and it's kind of awful and old. And then a foam can be too watery, and it doesn't really hold or give you much bounce. So this is a hybrid between a mousse and a foam. And what's cool about it, we say shake, dollop, and then apply. And you see how much I have in my hands?
Lift it up a little. Can you lift it? Yeah. Okay. Yes.
And what's cool about it is that it doesn't flake.
Did you just rub that all in your hands and it's gone?
Yeah. Ooh, I'm so ashy. I'm not ashy anymore.
Wait, did you just literally rub that and that went away in your hands?
Yeah.
There's no film?
Gone. And what's great about it, it has
like this, it's so sticky?
Not at all.
Wow.
And it's drying really, really, really nice. It's a hairdresser's dream, and it's also a consumer's dream. The reason why I say that is because the product that I've used on Lupita Nyong'o, Deborah Messing, Priyanka Chopra, Sandra Oh, and on and on and on. And if you think about those women, they all have different textures of hair. And the reason why I wanted to create this particular product is because I needed something that I could pull out of my bag that I can use on all that different texture. And again, my hands are not sticky. What's cool about it is you can use it on wet hair or voluminous blow dry. You can use it on dry hair, like you were just saying, for that kind of beachy texture. A friend and hairdresser in New York City, her name is Midia Parker, and you can follow her on Instagram, Midia Parker Hair. And Midia used it all during Fashion Week in Milan and Paris last season. And she used it on braids, she used it on relaxed hair, she used it on so many different people. And it's really a fantastic product, and I'm so in love with it. It's called Shooting Star Texture Meringue. And the reason why it's called meringue is because it has that consistency. If you guys are cooks, you know how our chefs, you know how that consistency of meringue, it's exactly what it's like.
And we are doing a right now for salon owners or hairdressers. If you buy 2 cases wholesale through our website, starring.tedgibson.com, we will do a 45-minute Zoom class or inspo conversation with your salon team.
So look at that, continuing education all day long. So since we can't get you at the beauty shows, we'll get you on Zoom. No, but that's real. So you have this product. So folks can still purchase that and check that out. Are you looking at anything else in expanding? Like, what does that look like for you? Because look, everybody got to get their coins right now. At the same time that we're out marching and out protesting and out defying shutdown orders. we need immediate change because we need immediate change.
Well, we always have our fingers in a whole bunch of different pots. And we are having conversations about, we have six products ready to go. We just don't have the coins to be ready to go. So we're having conversations about licensing. We're having conversations about franchising. We're having conversations about being ambassadors for different brands. There's a bunch of different ways for entrepreneurs to be. We're like Cher and cockroaches. Like entrepreneurs, you just can't kill us.
I'll be the chair.
Look, okay, I know how time is right now. I got a couple questions. So Monet brought something up that touches onto this really deeply in terms of, Black stylists are in vogue right now.
Yes,
Anything, because I hate to say how George Floyd and protests now we're in vogue in so many different ways, and so they're getting hit up to join teams or to help with diversity or whatever that is on the social media side. How do stylists take those opportunities but not get pimped by them? At this point?
Well, I think that's a really, really great question.
She didn't say pimped, but I said pimped.
I hope all of you heard the question, because all of us Black hairdressers, male, female, young, old, are in this predicament, if you will, right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone wants to get on the BBW.
And what's the BBW?
The Black Bandwagon. I've been on it for 25 years.
It was like I was pushing it. Oh, what you talking about? I don't need to be.
Let me just say this. I think that it is really, really important. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter, again, where you are in the world. If you are in Iowa or California or New York City or Fort Lauderdale, it doesn't matter where you are. What's important about what you just asked, and I hope everyone heard the question, because it's really, really important to know your worth. Okay. Don't let anyone, as Fatima says, don't let anyone use your intellectual property for free.
That's your teaching and your work.
No one uses your intellectual property for free. That is your mind. That is your hands. That is your Blackness. That is everything. Don't let them use it for free. Be very, very clear about what your worth is and what that means to you. If you've got a chance to watch Michelle Obama's documentary on Netflix, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
at the end of the documentary, and I actually put it on my Insta story today, about, oh my God, it slipped my mind. What did she say? What did she say? What did she say?
Know your worth.
No, she doesn't. She says, know that your story has value.
That's it. Yes, thank you. Thank you. The value. Your
story has value. And I'm telling you, that's exactly the truth right there.
Okay. That's it right there.
Just as I tend to do some of Ted's dirty work. And had multiple, not just people reach out, but people use his likeness to make their brand appear more diverse. So we've had no connection with ever have taken Ted's picture and put it on their Instagram story or on their Instagram feed. And those people know who they are because I have told them that is not okay.
So do you send them an invoice?
No, but we did get a really nice case of product, which is a step in the right direction. We got a $1,000 donation to one of Ted's charity,
the Equal Justice Initiative.
Yep. Okay. One of the people gave a $10,000 donation. And so I think that what's really important is that we don't shy away from those conversations where we let people know, what just happened isn't okay.
That's deep.
I appreciate the effort in you wanting to support diversity and, blah, blah, blah. Yet the way that you just did that is not okay. Because, it's a learning curve for everyone. Ted and I have had this conversation that for me, I have had to explore my own racism and what does that mean? And where does it come from? I think it's a scary thing for people to reflect upon when it comes to themselves. I said we were having a conversation about blackface, and I told Ted the story of when I was a junior in high school. I went to a Halloween party dressed up as Michael Jackson, and I didn't. At the time, the thought of that being offensive to anyone it never even entered my mind. now all these years later, I know better, I do better. But at the moment, I was just being this guy who I looked up to so much. I didn't think that would have any weight at all as a derogatory statement, you know? So I think for all of us, no matter what ethnicity we are or what our socioeconomic background is, we need to do that work in really peeling back the layers of who we are and who we really want to be.
And that goes for all of us. You know, I think that, you know, especially now in the diversity of beauty. And I know you asked the question about Black hairdressers who are being approached. Yes, but I think that it goes back to all of us and how we feel about ourselves, and the idea of trans and Black trans, and the idea of Black people and gay people and white people. And, you know, I think it's really important, Asian people. And I think it's really important for us to really recognize our own racism within each of ourselves, and what racism I have in me, and work on that. Because it's not okay for me to be Black and then not be accepting of my Black trans family. Or, you know, it's just really not. And I think that we as human beings have to evolve. And I think that if we recognize our own racism, regardless of what color you are, the world will be a better place. Because there's nothing worse than someone saying, "Oh, I have an Asian friend. I'm not racist." Oh, I have a Black friend. I'm not racist. Oh, I have a gay best friend. I'm not homophobic. I think that you should check a little bit.
So even thinking about that, overall, so thinking about how we've kind of siloed and separated in those ways, I feels like that's even what's happened overall in the beauty industry. Like everything shut down, and I know that there's like a site here that I can go to that maybe will give me a class or or make me an ambassador for something. But it kind of became like no man's land for hairstylists. It's like just like y'all out here just trying to fend for yourselves. Everybody, it was like, I don't even know what that movie was when it was like, just let everybody out and then y'all just go run and pick up the coins that you can. What is there really like a group? Because I've been looking for this, quite honestly. Like I know I have a beauty directory, but I have been looking for something that's like, how are the hairstylists really working together themselves? Is there that thing, that place that like I can go online and just here's this community of like, yo, this is where we are right now?
You know, there are organizations that are making attempts. I don't think that any of the organizations have been really successful. I think that some of them are elitist and some of them are too niche and some of them are too broad. And so that's something that Ted and I have really been focusing a lot of energy on. And it's part of, you know, the way that I think Colleen, our publicist, has been communicating with you about the collab that we could have. And that we've been working on the Worth Up Foundation. And every time we talk about what is the Worth Up Foundation, it grows more and more. And one of the things that we really want to do is create that unified voice that doesn't have anything to do with, it's not manufacturer driven. It's not
a haircut.
It's not about education. It's not, you have to do $1 million a year in service sales to be a part of this club. It will be for, you know, all hairdressers together to create this voice that then when something like this happens again, not necessarily a pandemic, but there's going to be something that we need to stand up for ourselves for. We have this community that isn't about, I mean, it could be a union. I don't know. I don't know anything about how to do that. But things will come from that. You know, a union, I think, would be a great opportunity. I think that, and we do have unions. They're just not for the people behind the chair.
No.
You know?
And they're separated. It's like one state and one region. And what about the rest of the world in relation or the country?
Well, think about the restaurant association.
Right,
The restaurant
right.
is the entire nation, right?
Mhm.
We don't have that as beauty professionals. We don't have
We
that.
don't.
Like the Professional Beauty Association, if you aren't a member, become a member. If you live in the state of California and you are not a member of the Professional Beauty Federation of California, you have to become a member, because especially in California, that organization has carried a big stick and is banging on a lot of cans with it. They're really making their voice heard. I think that the Professional Beauty Association has so much potential.
Mhm.
I think that it needs more involvement from us as a community to help it reach its potential. And I see the Worth Up Foundation as being that voice in the future.
Well, I'm really looking forward to learning more about the Worked Up, and I want to put some work in in any way that I can on that with the Sadiaa platform that, it's raising up. And then, I'm also digital media director over at Hype Hair. Anything that I could, in terms of helping assist with, any piece of that, please let me know. Share it with our audiences. So, because people want to get involved right now. I think overall, collectively, everyone, no matter where they are in whatever industry they're in, people are looking for a way to get involved tangibly. They're looking for a way that they can make a difference, because when we open our computers, our phones, we look at our screens, and the news right now is just killing us on so many different levels, literally and figuratively. And we want to see some sort of collective something that we're coming together. And so that's what excites me so much about this piece. Yeah.
Thank you. Stay tuned to the Worth Up. If you go to theworthupfoundation.com, you'll be able to see a little bit more of what we're doing. Also on Facebook, there is the Worth Up Foundation on Facebook, and then also at Worth Up Foundation on Instagram. So
there's no it's just Worth Up Foundation.
Just Worth Up Foundation. Yeah.
Okay.
We're very excited. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. If there's something else, I'm looking to share this completely everywhere right now. I'm just still like a kid in a candy store. Thank you so much for tuning and joining in this conversation. If there's anything else that you want to share, please let our audience know. Otherwise, I'm just looking forward to next steps.
Can I just say one more thing before I let you go?
Of course.
For those of you who know me, my message to the hairdresser is all the time about how important you are, and what a difference you make in people's lives, not only just by cutting their hair, but the touch, the feel, the experience that you have, and just know that that's worth something. And never, ever, ever forget that, and never forget how important you are to your neighborhood, your communities, your country, and also your world. And everything that you do every single day makes such a big difference. And I can say that I am truly, truly, truly blessed and fortunate to be able to be a hairdresser. And I'm just really, really, really fortunate for that. And I hope you feel the same way. So stay strong. We're in this together, and we're gonna come out of this, and it's gonna be so glorious. But you have to stay strong. And as I'm telling you that, I'm telling myself that, because I have to do that every single day. Stay strong.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Everyone, Ted Gibson, Jason Backe, co-owners of Starring by Ted Gibson. Legendary, legendary, legendary. So follow them if you are not. Shame on you. Follow them. Shame on you. Follow them, and then stay tuned for some new good news coming through in the hairdresser and hairstyling world. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.